We have another package. Of course we have another package. Seriously, that's honestly all I do on this channel at this point. But anyway, inside this package should be a lot of 3 iPod Touch 4th generations that I bought on eBay for an unbelievable $10. These were listed as for parts or not working with various issues, so let's go ahead and open them up. Also, if you watched my previous video, I noted that I have 2 packages coming in the near future. This was one of those 2. The other one is another lot of iPod Touch 4th generations. This time, 4 of them. That is a video coming next week, so stay tuned. But without further ado, let's get started with the first 3 of the 7 that I bought. Now, the 7 came to a total of only $28, which is honestly not that bad in my opinion. I've been wanting another iPod Touch 4th generation ever since I had my first one back in 2020. And I had the money to buy one, so I thought, why not buy 7? Some nice packing peanuts. I can use these when packaging eBay packages when I sell things. This is probably not a great idea, but it worked. Here we have the 3 iPods, but first let me get rid of these packing peanuts. All right, now that that's cleaned up, we can actually open the iPods. Looks like I don't need a knife. There we go. Now, ever since I got my first iPod Touch 4th gen back in 2020, I've wanted another one, but just never got around to buying one. Until now, I bought 7. Looks like I do need a knife, great. Here we go. Go ahead and open them up. And as you can see, in the first lot of 3, we have 2 white ones and 1 black iPod Touch. Here's the first white one. It's an 8GB model. I believe both of the white ones are 8GB models. Here's the black one, which is a 16GB model. I just said 16GB as that's what the listing said, but it turns out it's actually a 32GB, which is great, although it is in pretty terrible condition. The screen isn't bad though. And here is the third and final iPod Touch, which is another 8GB model. Now, the problems with these is, I believe, one of the white ones will not restore in iTunes, likely a dead NAND, unfortunately. The other white one is stuck on the Apple logo, and this black one right here is disabled for, I think, a couple thousand minutes. So let's first see if any of these have power. I'm gonna connect all these to power, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as they charge up.
5 minutes later.
All right, so after about only 10 minutes of charging, all 3 of them turned on. This one right here actually ended up turning on to the lock screen. I am yet to unlock it. There we go. The home button is broken, so the assistive touch is in place. But just before it dies, I want to check the iOS version of this one. This one is running iOS 6.1.6, honestly what I expected. And like I saw previously, it's an 8GB model. Nice, that's great. I honestly wasn't expecting one to turn on and work like that, but it did. The next one, the black one, the 32GB model, is disabled for 3,144 minutes. Great. And the third one is stuck on the recovery mode screen. That's why it's plugged in, so that it will stay lit up. Now it is time to, 1, make a backup of this one and reset it. 2, see what iOS version this one right here is running. If it's anything special, save blobs and restore to it. If not, just go ahead and reset it. And 3, for this one, do the same as that one. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first device I'm going to be bypassing is the iPod is disabled 32GB iPod Touch, the black one. So originally I was just going to try to find the iOS version and dump blobs if it was anything important. But now, after doing a bit of digging before deciding what to do, I'm going to be using iPhone Gecko Toolkit to bypass the iPhone is disabled or iPod is disabled screen. So once this opens and loads, I should be able to go to bypass iPhone disabled, iPod 4G. And if I go ahead and click bypass, I'll need to put the phone in DFU mode. The phone should now be in DFU mode. I heard the Windows chime and I should now, there we go. And now we just wait for the iPod to do its thing. This should be now bypassing the iPod is disabled screen. Now the iPod is rebooting, and ideally now it will allow me to brute force the passcode also using this toolkit. Let's just wait for the device to boot, and then we'll move on to that. There we go. it appears to have worked, and it looks like the device is running a version of iOS 5.1 or iOS 6. There's no way to know for sure, so I am going to bypass this passcode. All right, so in order to brute force this passcode, or really crack it so I can unlock the device, I need to use iPhone Gecko Toolkit to boot an iOS RAM disk. Let me go ahead and do that, and then brute force this passcode. So I need to put the device into DFU mode again. And now Red Snow should be loading and exploiting the iPod. Once Red Snow boots the RAM disk onto the iPod, it should go through the process of cracking that passcode. There we go. As you can see, the device has booted the RAM disk. Let's wait for Windows to install the drivers, and then we can continue. All right, this is an SSH RAM disk I am fairly familiar with using on other devices, so that's great. We can click cancel, which is what it's telling me to do, and now we can click launch. I believe that we now just have to wait. It appears to be doing its thing on the iPod, and now we just have to wait for it to find the correct passcode. It said this could take up to 20 minutes, so I'm just going to leave the iPod in the computer and get back to you guys once it finds the correct passcode.
Many minutes later.
Alright, so it has completed, and the passcode is 1999, the year 1999. So we can go ahead and reboot the iPod Touch, and we can use that passcode to unlock it. I've never used this tool before, but it is definitely something that I will be using in the future. Now, hopefully, the iOS version of this iPod isn't 6.1.6. It'd be nice if it is a slightly lower version for all this work that I've just done, but honestly, I'm not that worried, and I won't be bothered much if it is the latest version. After all, I do enjoy doing these things and making these videos, regardless of how it goes. There we go. We're back to the passcode screen, and let's go ahead and unlock it. There we go. Now we have yet another iPod Touch with quite some applications on it. Let's check the version, and it is 6.1.6. So all that for another 6.1.6 iPod, but it's okay. Looks like it has 43 songs as well, so that's a little gift for myself. Looks like we've got yet another working iPod Touch. At the end of the video, I'll reset these two, but for now, let's move on to the other white one that was stuck in recovery mode. This one right here. All right, so now for this iPod Touch stuck on the recovery mode screen. So as it turns out, this recovery mode screen is specific to iOS 6.1 through 6.1.6. Meaning, if I just restore this device in 3utools, it's not really going to change much. So that's just what I'm going to do. I'll launch 3utools, and I already have the iOS 6.1.6 IPSW, so all I need to do is go to flash it, go to import, and select from my desktop the 6.1.6 IPSW. We can go ahead and hit flash, and we'll wait and see what it does.
5 minutes later.
So it looks like the device failed to enter restore mode. I am honestly not sure what could cause that, but I am going to do a little bit of digging off camera, and I may resort to trying to fix this power button, but I'm honestly not sure yet.
Many minutes later.
All right, so after everything I've read, and I honestly concluded to this at first, but didn't want to completely decide on it. It seems that the error I faced in 3utools, I also tried restoring in iTunes. I got error 9, which essentially means the NAND on this iPod is dead. I'm not going to settle with that yet, as this power button is stuck, and I believe that could also interfere with the restore and could cause an error to appear. So I believe off camera, I am going to work on this iPod, as these are an absolute nightmare to work on, and it will be much easier for me to do off camera. It's a long process that isn't worth watching, or recording for that matter. All right, now that I've gone through and made sure that there are no special IPA files to back up from either of these two iPod Touches that are functioning, it is now time to make a backup of them for the data that I do want to preserve, such as the music on this one, and go ahead and reset them. So first, we need to back them up. So we'll start with the 32 gigabyte black model. Open up 3U Tools, and we can go ahead, click on Backup and Restore, and back it up now. This shouldn't take too long, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as it's finished. All right, all the data has been backed up from this iPod Touch, so it is now time to back up the data of the other iPod Touch, and then we can move on to resetting them. But first I have to get all the data backed up. I've also ensured there's nothing on here specific to back up. All of the apps on here are either not important or on their latest version. Looks like Windows needs to install a driver for it. Gotta love Windows 7. There we go. Now the iPod should connect any second now. Let's just try this again. Now it worked. Great. We can go ahead and make the backup, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as this has completed. All right, all the data from this iPod Touch has now been backed up, so it is time to reset both of these iPods, which I can do on the iPods themselves without using the computer. Now I have both the iPods on the erase page, and we can go ahead and erase them. These should erase relatively quickly, and then we can go ahead and set them up freshly on iOS 6. As you can see, both iPods have now been completely reset, and they're ready for us to set them up. All right, my work here is complete. It's time to set up these iPod Touches and conclude the video. I'll set up one of them on camera, and then I'll set up the other one off camera, as there's no point in setting up both of them. Let me connect to Wi-Fi. As you can see, the iPod is now activated. Enable location services. Set up as a new iPod Touch. I can add my Apple ID later. Automatically send. And now we can start using iPod Touch. I might as well set up the other one on camera as well. I don't see the point in not doing it. I forgot how quickly it goes on iOS 6. Set up as a new iPod Touch. We'll skip the Apple ID once again, as I can add that later. We'll automatically send diagnostics, and it's time to start using iPod Touch. Well, I had a nice shot lined up, and I managed to miss it. Great. Anyways, here are the two iPod Touches that we got working, both fully set up, running iOS 6.1.6. This white one is an 8 gigabyte model, and the black one is a 32 gigabyte model. The white one's home button is currently broken, so I will be taking the screen and home button from this other iPod Touch that is stuck in recovery mode, as the home button and screen are in better condition and the home button actually works. But for now, I have to enable the assistive touch on this iPod Touch, as I cannot use the home button without it. There we go. Well, I hope you guys have all enjoyed this video. I have honestly really enjoyed making it, as I really do enjoy unboxing technology lots and technology in general. So this was an awesome video to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. And in the end, for only a total of almost $11, $10.43, I got two fully functioning iPod Touches. Well, not fully, but almost. One 8 gigabyte white one, one 32 gigabyte black one, running iOS 6. This one just needs to have a home button fix. And we got one iPod Touch 8 gigabyte white that has a dead NAND flash storage chip. So I think we're gonna see about that, as I'm gonna try some things off camera. Now, arriving the day after Christmas, I have another package containing 4 more iPod Touch 4th generations. I bought 7. So look forward to a part 2, the iPod Touch 4th generation unboxing. I'll hopefully try to have that up before New Year's, as I honestly think I can have it up that quick. But that is another video I'm really looking forward to making, and that video will contain some updates surrounding this iPod Touch with the supposed dead NAND flash chip. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe, as of right now, only 7.4% of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'll really appreciate it, and it can help me in reaching my goal of 4,000 subscribers. Anyway, that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and as always, peace out, guys.